Kings and queens, welcome back to the second channel. Hopefully you guys are all having a fantastic day and you're doing well. We got some exciting news from DBD. There's actually two videos that I'm going to be making, this one and another one, so stay tuned for that tomorrow. Today, we're focusing on the update that they gave us to MMR. That's actually going to be happening sooner than you think, this Tuesday, and it's a big one. There's a lot to go over, so let's jump on into all the nitty-gritty. And just want to give a shout out to my Twitch channel. We're going to be streaming a lot more. I actually just got finished streaming there as I'm making this video like 2 minutes ago. So we're going to be doing streams in the morning at 10 a.m. EST, and Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, if I'm ever live on those days, those will be in the afternoon at about 5 or 6 p.m. EST. So make sure you guys are tuning in. All right, let's jump on into a couple of these images that they shared over on Discord. And it says, what's new? It says kills and escapes still matter, but are no longer the sole deciding factor. Actions that move the game forward count towards player gaining or losing MMR. The emblem categories give a good idea on what those actions do. For example, doing generators and hooking survivors are actions that move the game forward. Actions give points, which are tallied at the end of the game. Killer and survivor tallies are compared to determine who gains MMR and who loses MMR. So let's talk about this section for starters. I want to kind of like rewind this all the way back to, if you guys remember when ranks were a thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, before the emblem system was in Dead by Daylight, we had something else called a ranking system. Rankings would work from 1 all the way to 20, would rank 1 to 5 being the red ranks. Then you had the purple ranks from 5 to 8, I believe. 9 to 12 was green. 13 to, I think, 17 was yellow. And then the rest was just uncategorized, unranked. I think that was like 18 to 20, right? And pretty much we got tired of this system because we realized there wasn't actually much skill involved to get to the red ranks. And people would brag about this like there was no tomorrow, like I'm a rank 1 survivor. And I used to laugh because I was like, if you play enough of the game, you will just naturally get into rank 1. And that system had a lot of flaws, and we called for a lot of changes, which eventually was just rehashed into the emblem system. Now, the emblem system worked okay. It wasn't terrible. And then MMR had so many different iterations, and it was all over the place. And then we realized, with a bit of drama surrounding the time, that the way MMR was calculated in DBD was solely based on your kills and your escapes. Because of this, if someone ratted the entire game and managed to get the hatch, but you worked on 5 gens, you know, looped the killer forever, but then got hit with no hit in the end and died, you would D-rank and that person would rank up, which doesn't necessarily seem that fair. On the killer side, it was more straightforward. If you get a 4K or you did pretty good, got a 3K, you ranked up. If not, you ranked down. Pretty simple, cut and dry. But again, it doesn't paint the picture of the entire game that just happened. What they're saying now is that the way that ranking is going to work is if you are working on those generators, they give an example, or hooking survivors, your MMR will actually go up. So let's say you're playing killer and you manage to get yourself 2, 4, 6, 8 hooks, but you got no kills. You're more than likely not to D-rank, but you probably won't rank up either, but it will count as moving the game forward, so that'll count towards your MMR rather than you just getting a kill. So if I decided to tunnel 2 people out versus getting 8 hooks, they'd probably take the 8 hooks more into consideration. So that's pretty good. That's exciting to hear. It means MMR will be more based on the type of gameplay that you're doing. Now, the biggest thing that I want to talk about, because I don't know if you guys are going to skip through this video, and we'll talk about it more later, is that everybody's MMR is going to be completely reset. So if you thought you were a high MMR survivor or killer, it's completely gone. We'll talk about that later on because that's in the other slide. So this was pretty interesting. I'm happy to hear this. And they said the emblem system already gives us a good idea of this. It's a little bit kind of like what the old ranking system was, getting from rank 20 to 1. And the reason why that was a bit redundant was because it was tied to your points, if I remember correctly. So it wasn't necessarily that hard to accomplish things. Now they can actually track a little bit more of what you're doing. So this is pretty good. Next slide that we have for you guys here is killers keep their own individual MMR. As we know, every killer has their own MMR because every killer is a bit different. You don't have a blanket MMR for everybody. So if I'm really good with nurse, but I'm really bad at trapper, I'm not going to be tossed into the deep end when I'm trying to play trapper, which is good. And survivors share their MMR because survivors are just skins at the end of the day. We still compare the survivors and the killers within a match to determine how MMR gain and losses are calculated. So that means if survivors do really well in a match, but a killer doesn't, that'll be tallied and taken into consideration. They said matchmaking will remain the same, prioritizing wait times over exact MMR matchmaking, which is fantastic. If somebody joins your lobby, for example, and then they leave, they're just going to fill anybody into that slot. So sometimes you might get a weaker link or even a stronger link on that survivor MMR because they're just trying to make sure you guys get into your matches. Because if we're waiting all day for everybody to be, let's say, 1500 MMR, chances are it's going to take a very long time. So there's always like a nice range of MMR of what you're going to be. So if I'm a 1600 MMR killer, I'll probably go down to 1300 all the way to 1900, and anybody within that range will be queued up with me. Let's say all the survivors join in and they have an average of about 1500, that'll be a perfect lobby. Now let's say one of those survivors who has a 1600 MMR decides to back out of the lobby, they're going to put someone in there, and you could get someone with 600 MMR or 3000 MMR just to make sure that match is going smoothly. Now, if you are in a full stack of 4, you don't really need to worry about this. Your MMR will be calculated between all of you and more than likely average, sometimes even being on the higher end. The final slide that they have for us is a little bit of extra info, and this is where the MMR reset comes into play. They said there will be an MMR reset. Details are to be determined, but we know this is going to be on Tuesday when the new chapter is out. And they said we have been acquiring play pattern data for a while to pre-balance the system. So you're not just going to be like fully tossed in with new players. They're still going to be like, okay, this person plays quite a while. They're going to take that data and put you in a general kind of queue. And then from there, it will be more accurate. Even though they say it's already accurate already, I'm going to put a caveat on that one. I don't know. Well, I don't know how the system works, but from their track history, you know, we're going to be a little precautious. They then said that the long-term initiative, they are committed to continue monitoring the new MMR system, making frequent updates, and exploring other ways to improve the game's experience. Now, on paper, this sounds pretty good. MMR is finally being looked at. It's getting a reset so everyone can be kind of put into the right place. I know, for example, for me, because a long time ago when MMR just came out, I was really into DBD and I played very intensely and I did really good. My MMR is more than likely way higher compared to where my actual skill level is at this point in time. And like if I make videos, sometimes when I'm doing like challenges where I have to get all the achievements again in DBD, I have to make a new account. When you do that, you really can see the discrepancy between the skill because you're getting matched with people that are very new. And then I end up getting like, no joke, 20 to 40, like 3 or 4Ks in a row, and I'm still getting survivors that are fairly brand new to the game. So you're not just like jump. Hopefully with this MMR, it's going to kind of do that. The way that other games do it, at least that I'm familiar with, and I'm not saying this is the best system, but it kind of gauges you. It's like, okay, you just got a 4K, let's say at 600 MMR. Let's give you 700 MMR. Okay, you just got a 4K again. You know what? Instead of going to 800, let's go to 1,000. Let's see if you can handle that. You go to 1,000 and let's say you do really bad. You get no kills at all and now they'll be able to track hooks. You didn't even get hooks that game. They're like, okay, maybe you're not ready for 1,000. Let's drop you back down to 800. Still higher than what we were, but we're going to see and test the water. You get, let's say, a 3K there. And they're like, okay, we think you're around the 700 to 800 range. That's typically how most of the games that I play do it. It's the same where it ranks in often many games that you play online that have an pulled out fleshed comp mode. And that would be interesting to see in DBD. And there you go. We don't know if this is going to be shown. I assume it's not going to be shown. I think it's going to be, if it is shown, it's going to be really bad for people too. I would have a very funny laugh though at a lot of people that, including myself, would probably think they're pretty good at DBD. And then you look at your MMR and it's like, oh, I'm not that good actually. That would be quite funny. But yeah, that's the information on MMR. Overall, I think this is a good change. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty awesome for the players. The thing about MMR, and maybe this is a bit of a hot take, but it is a second channel, so it is what it is that MMR, I don't know if I really like it. And I'm not saying it in the sense that I want to be paired up with people that are completely new at the game. But I remember like old school DBD and old school Call of Duty and other games that I played that didn't necessarily have MMR. And it was like, one game you could go and you can absolutely dominate it. You felt really good. Then you have like some average games, like, okay, like the games are still going good. Sometimes you'll be like, all right, I'm not playing anymore because, you know, I'm not really doing too good. Pop back in later on, you do absolutely amazing. And then sometimes you get someone that's so good at the game and you're like, wow. At least for me, I respected that. I was like, damn, that person's really good. I'm excited about it. We'll see what it looks like on Tuesday. I'm sure people are going to be upset about it. We heard a bunch of complaints about it and people blaming it when it's not even, you know, that's the issue. That's definitely going to happen. But yeah, the next big topic we're going to talk about in our next video, you'll probably see that tomorrow or Sunday, is going to be Dead by Daylight using some new anti-cheat. We'll talk about that one later and the implications that it could make for the everyday player. That's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like down below, subscribe for some more awesome Dead by Daylight second channel content. Words are hard. Come on over to our Twitch. We're going to be live every single weekday, even on weekends now. Should be pretty cool. And make sure you're using code KING in the Org-Cell shop. If you do, hop on over to our Discord. We're giving away tons of things over there. We've been giving away a lot of Montreal goodies every single month. So show me some proof. You don't even need to use our code. Just pop it in there and you're good to go. As always, I'm the King. I tip my crown to you guys and we'll see you in the fog.